Cool books for kids. Read out loud activity coloring books. Listen, learn, download and color. Gia's Magical Bubble Adventure. Once upon a time, in a land far away lived a little girl named Gia, who loved to play. Her favorite toy was a wand and a bubble solution, with which she would make bubbles of every color and fusion. One day, while playing in the park, Gia made a bubble so big it could light up the dark. It sparkled and shone like a magical gem. And Gia knew it was a bubble she'd always remember. As she stared at the bubble with awe, suddenly, it burst with a loud pop sound, and Gia let out a drawl. But as the bubble disappeared into thin air, something magical happened, and Gia could hardly bear. A tiny fairy appeared before her eyes, wearing a dress made of bubbles of all shapes and sizes. She introduced herself as Bubbletina, and she offered to take Gia on an adventure, quite the ballerina. Gia eagerly followed Bubbletina's lead, and they flew through the air, like a bird with great speed. They soared over mountains, and across the sea, until they reached a magical land, where things were not as they seemed to be. The land was filled with bubbles of every kind. Some small and some large, some clear and some lined. Bubbletina explained that in this land, bubbles had the power to make wishes come true. It was so grand. Gia closed her eyes and made a wish for a world filled with love, laughter, and bliss. And just like that, her wish came true. And she knew what she had to do. Gia returned home, feeling happy and bright, and she knew in her heart that she could make things right. With her wand and bubble solution in hand, she made bubbles of love that filled the land. From that day on, Gia continued to play with her wand and bubbles every day. And every time she made a bubble so grand, she knew that it held the power to change the world, like magic in her hand. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more cool downloadable coloring activity books. Read out loud.